Can we have the riders for their introduction to the Mayor Springs and also for the Aquabine? The riders please into the utilities for their Aquabine and their introduction to the Mayor. Now, we can use that one for Alan, or we can give that to Scotty to go downstairs and he can get himself set up.
Scotty can use it downstairs.
Right, and we'll share this one with Alan. Peace.
I'm going to hold him down there at the front and supply the flag to Marshall.
And there's a blue cord that goes with it as well.
So will that plug into the blue cord or not?
Yes. Yep. The blue cord right up down there, and you can use it onto that. Right. And if you want to go further, that'll be far enough. There's another one here. Right. So I think you'll find that'll be enough.
All right, I'll just leave this here for front.
When you go with that one, you want to take one of these so you can give us a call when you're set up so we know what's happening. And when you go with 8CCC one, I'll take the other two ones.
Just slow.
Yeah. Nothing is really simple here. You want to go, Scotty?
And what's this coming through?
CJ, what's the chance of having that blower on?
Yeah, sure, mate.
Any more?
Okay. All right, well, I'll leave this on for the moment.
So Jeff, we're ready to go now. And there we are, Michael, the salute to open up the best pairs for tonight. Perhaps we can have riders in this event.
Wayne Thomas, I think it is the manager of Deaf Viewers.
Okay, riding for Victoria in number 1, Phil Crump. That's number 1, Phil Crump for Mobile Larapinta. Riding for the Northern Territory is the blue helmet colours, Wayne Bridgeford. And he's the current Northern Territory champion, sponsored by the Speedway Riders Association. Riding in the white for Victoria, Jason Lyons out of Mildura. He's sponsored by CKS Electrical. And in yellow, for the Northern Territory, out of position 4, Glenn Baxter, currently in T number 2, sponsored by the Girls Incorporated. That's your 4 starters in Heat 1. This sponsored by Northern Territory Gas. And the first rider comes to the line. That's the bike of Jason Lyons. Look for the number on his back. On the front of his bib is the sponsor who's paid for him. On the back is his number. Coming into 4, Glenn Baxter. Down in 1, Phil Crump lines up. Last man to the line will be Wayne Bridgeford. Thank you, Michael. Jump out of 1. Which is out of 2. Line out of 3. That's out of 4. They come up to the line now. In they go. Come after them. Comes in alongside of Trump. Left up the territory riders back there in 3rd and 4th position. Trump leading them round. Line next to him. And then it's back to Baxter on the inside and Bridgeford on the outside. Come up there and lock up that highway there as they go down the back motorway. It's the Victorian pair leaping them round. Phil Crump, Jason Lyon, and then back to Glenn Baxter and Wayne Bridgeford. Around they come with 4. Baxter coming to and Bridgeford trailing way behind. Down the back straightaway they go for the second last time. Trump out wide. Lyon down on the inside of him and then Baxter. Right up now. Lyon goes in and fills that gap. And it's Trump leading them down. Lyon next to him. And then back to Baxter and Bridgeford trailing along. But way behind. Up they come for the checker flag. It's Victoria. Phil Crump will be first. Jason Lyons second. Glenn Baxter and then Wayne Bridgeford.
10813. Stop. Sort of made a bit of a move.
Right, and as I will remind you, placings are provisional until everything is finalised at the end of the night, but as we go through, we'll tell you who the winners of the heats are. Okay, bike number 1 taking the first position across the line, the bike of Phil Crump, sponsored by Mobile Larapinta. His time, 1:08.13. 1:08.13 for the 4 laps around Arunga Park. Second goes to bike number 2, Jason Lyons from Victoria, sponsored by CKS Electrical. And into third spot, and not very far behind, the bike of Glenn Baxter. That's bike number 4, and Glenn sponsored by Girls Incorporated. Okay, heat 2, sponsored by Primetime Video. Out of gate 1 for Queensland, bike number 5, Troy Butler, sponsored by Peter Kittle Toyota. In the blue, out of gate 2, that's bike 7, Shane Bowes from South Australia, sponsored by McBride Transport. In white, out of 3 for Queensland, at bike number 6, Darren Winkler for the Indoor Cricket Centre. And in yellow, out of position 4, Scotty Norman, bike number 8. He's riding for Jones Signs and North Point Cars. Second up is Darren Winkler from the main 23rd line. Queensland are only got Troy Butler to hold up their hopes in this heat. Darren Winkler there, and now the noise has died down. What happened is that Darren Winkler touched the tapes with the front wheel. If you haven't been to Speedway for a while, the rules have changed. In the old days, if you broke the tapes, you were out. These days, if you touch the tapes, you're out immediate. There's no questions asked. The riders know the rules. There'll be no fuss. They will go straight out. So poor old Darren Winkler, he'll take infield. Troy Butler will be riding for Queensland on his own. And Shane Bowes and Scotty Norman, well, if they all finish the race, they can at least match the points, because it's 3 for first, 2 for second and 1 for third. That's assuming that Troy was to take it out. If it goes any other way, well, Queensland will drop down on points.
And ladies and gentlemen, the exclusion lights. There are 2 sets of exclusion lights. Here in front of the tower, you'll see a row of exclusion lights that tells you which rider has gone out. And then just up the track, a little bit to the north of the tower, there's another set of exclusion lights.
Just a message, Ray Stennett. Ray Stennett, please phone your brother Peter as soon as possible. Ray Stennett, please phone your brother Peter as soon as possible. Thank you. Norman out of 2, Bowes out of 4, and of course Troy Butler out of 1. That's bike 7, Shane Bowes, who's gone back around there. Just waiting for him. Scotty Norman's doing the same. And Butler. And Bowes. Butler leading the way, Norman next to him, Bowes got next one on the line, but didn't fire up. Norman got right underneath him, came in back, and was right underneath him going down the back straight, and it's Butler next to him, and then back to Jason Lemon, the Victorian rider, then back to Shane Bowes, round they come now, Norman. For the second last time, Scotty Norman holding out there pretty well in front, Butler next to him.
checkered flag. Lemon. And then Shane Bowes after that. They'd start off the line.
106.88. Well, bad luck there for the young South Australian Shane Bowes. His bike just died on the line. He didn't actually stall, but it died and ran out of revs, but he managed to get it to go. But what a great ride from the South Australian Scotty Norman. Didn't get out of the gate first, he was second out, but he managed to slip right underneath Troy Butler as they went past the tower here on lap 2. And Scotty Norman, bike 8, will take the first position for South Australia there in a time of 1:06.88. 1:06.88. And Harry tells me that's a new 4-lap track record. Well done, Scotty Norman. New 4-lap track record. I told you that track had plenty of drive in it tonight, and it certainly appears to be the case. Riding into position 2, the Queensland champion, Troy Butler, sponsored by Peter Kittle Toyota, with a great ride. And into third spot, the reserve rider, that's Mark Lemon, the Victorian. Now, apparently, we've found out that he qualified, which he qualified last Saturday night in the elimination meeting, and he qualified for the best pairs. So that's why he came in as reserve there. So the bike 15, Mark Lemon from Victoria, sponsored by the Indoor Cricket Centre, is the rider that came in third place. Okay, heat 3, this one's sponsored by Baxter Motorcycle Engineering. In red out of 1, Glenn Doyle, current Australian champion from Western Australia, sponsored by Light and Easy Leisure Furniture. In blue, from 2, Craig Boyce from New South Wales, sponsored by Firefighting Enterprises. In white out of 3, the other Western Australian rider, David Cheshire, sponsored by Anita Plummer and Milko. And in yellow out of 4, bike 12, Todd Wilshire from New South Wales. And Todd sponsored for this meeting by Jules Smith. You can see when they cross position, we've got Craig Boyce. There's a few problems there. I'm not sure, I'll wait to do it.
There's something wrong here. They're in the wrong places, according to me. They're in the wrong places. Yes. They're in the wrong spot. That seems a bit better. Yeah.
So, Glenn Doyle out of 1, as I said. Craig Boyce out of 2. David Cheshire out of 3. Tom Wilshire out of 4, as per program.
Glenn Doyle out of 1. Craig Boyce out of 2. David Wilshire out of 3. Righto, they're down. The rider in red. The rider in red. And then back to Cheshire at the back, and down the back straight away, the current Australian Championship riding in the red colours, and that is down the back straight away they go. 1.5 laps to go, and Doyle has got away from them. He's leading Boyce by quite a distance now. Down the back straight away for the last time, and it's Doyle, the Western Australian and Australian champion, leading them round. Here he comes. And then Cheshire in fourth position.
Time? What's the time?
1:05.18.
New track record again. Doyle.
1:05.18. Is that right?
Yes, 1:05.18.
Okay, great ride from the current Australian champion, Glenn Doyle. Got out of the gate straight away and was never headed. And that heat was promised to be one of the best in the program, certainly so early in the program with the current title holder. You've got New South Wales 1 and 2, Craig Boyce and Todd Wilshire there, and they're all very keen to win it. Those three boys would be very, very keen to win this weekend. Okay, first goes to bike 9, Glen Doyle, sponsored by Light and Easy Leisure Furniture. The time 1:05.18. That's just dropped the record that Scotty Norman broke. So that's a new track record, 1:05.18. Second goes to bike 11, Craig Boyce, sponsored by Firefighting Enterprises, and 12, the other New South Wales rider, David Todd Wiltshire, I should say, sponsored by June Smith Flores. Heat 4 coming up, sponsored by Farmers Electronics. In red, out of 1, Shane Parker from South Australia, sponsored by the Tennant Creek Sporties Club. In the blue, helmet colours from Victoria, number 1, Phil Crump, sponsored by Mobile Larapinta. In white, out of 3, South Australia's Damon Richardson, sponsored by Centre Bridge. And in yellow, out of 4, the Victorian rider Jason Lyons, sponsored by CKS Electrical. We've got Jason Lyons in the goal. They followed a little forward this time. So that'll be Lyons out of 2, Crump out of 4. However, the South Australians are riding as per program. So swap Crump and Lyons in the starting order. Okay, I'll pass it to Harry.
That's Parker out of 1, Lions out of 2, Richardson out of 3, and Crump out of 4. Parker down on the inside. Good cut riding at their shoulder now, and back to Richardson. And it's Parker down the back straight, Lions right there. Trump's following in there to stop that third strike, well, second strike rider. Getting Parker wins by. There's still Parker out there as well. Come next to him, and then Lyon, and then back to Richardson. And it's Parker holding them round, right down tight on the pole line. So Phil Trump brings up the kick. Back to behind the Phil Trump and back to Richardson. It looks as though he could be a Parker coming up with 1 lap to go. And it's Parker holding them off now. Down the back straight away from the line. Oh, Trump, something's gone wrong with Trump's bike. Grey Hill up there now, and it's Parker. Parker around the southern bend and coming up to take the second back. And then Richardson in the 3rd position. Phil Crump just cruising in. That bike shut down, going into the bin for the last time.
1:06.64.
Thank you.
Mo, I think we can get another pull. We'll just have a little pause now and then we'll go straight.
Righto, good ride to the South Australian, Shane Parker. He'd be very, very pleased with that. His first ride of the night. Had position 1 and jumped straight out of it to lead home. Or to certainly lead Phil Crump for 3/4 of the way, and Jason Lyons for Victoria. He'd be very pleased. Bad luck for Phil Crump with that DNF there. So that's Parker, bike 13 in position 1. His time 1:06.64. 1:06.64 to Shane Parker. Second place going to Jason Lyons from Victoria. He's sponsored by CKS Electrical, and in 3rd place, bike number 14, the South Australian rider Damon Richardson, coming home in the 3rd position. South Australia 1 and 3, they picked up 4 points for that, and the Victorians picking up 2 points.
Michael, I missed the time. Could you give me the time again, please?
1:06.64. And while it's quiet, I'll just update you that. Right, a couple of practice starts from the guys down there. In the blue helmet colours, first man of the way. Roy starting out of 2 as per program. So Winkler will be out of 4. I'll just check on 1 and 2 and 3 for you. Again, I've got Bridgeford out of 3. So here's Glenn Baxter of change. Bridgeford down 3, Glenn Baxter down 1. That's bombed around there starting position. Clark of course, just checking the dogs on Harry. I'll pass it over to Harry.
Baxter out of 1, Doyle out of 2. But Baxter the way up by Britford and Winkler. That's Winkler into third now. So it's Butler. Butler leads them round. And Baxter next to him. Then Winkler and Britford. Baxter right down on the pole line, holding it fairly tight. Winkler making a run at him underneath. And then Britford dropping back again. Around they come though this time. And Troy Butler hanging under it fairly well. Outside looking to a bit of just a tiny bit, and he's under a bit of pressure from Darren Winkler. The two Queensland riders going pretty well. And Troy Butler out there in front, still out there a little bit wide, picking up that bit of drive. Darren Winkler tries to ride. They go into the top spin now, and down the back straight away for the last time. Butler got away a little bit from Baxter, and then a bit of a break back to Winkler and Britford. Up they come Butler. Butler. Back to the second, Winkler third, and then Wayne Britford.
Time.
106.76.
Another good ride to Troy Butler. First place that time, sponsored by the Speedway Riders Association. Troy's time, 1:06.76. 1:06.76 for Troy Butler that time. Second place with a good ride, Glenn Baxter held it very tight on the pole line all the way around, and that's a good way to win here at Oranga Park. And Glenn sponsored by the Girls Incorporated. And into third place, the second Queenslander, that's the rider Darren Winkler, sponsored by the Indoor Cricket Association. So Queensland picking up 4 points for that, and the Northern Territory picking up. Change in the Western Australians, they switched around. Time? 1:06.99. 1:06.99. Yep. Wow, what a great ride from Glenn Doyle. Got out of the gate badly, was fourth man away and was trailing the field, but moved up. Okay, Shane Bowes had some bad luck, but Glenn Doyle, the man who went from fourth to first in just probably a lap and a half. But you had to go out to Shane Bowes there. Was leading by a country mile, you might say, and have that bike go just one lap from home. He walked off the track very dejectedly, and who can blame him? We've got the South Australians as per program, but the New South Wales riders have swapped. So I took Wiltshire out of 2 and Boyce out of 4. New South Wales have swapped. Boyce out of 4, Wiltshire out of 2. South Australia riding as per program.
So it lines up Parker, Wiltshire. position. Down the back straight away they go. Up Will Giant, getting a bit of a break now. Going a little bit wide. Parker down on the pole line. Joyce looking to try and run. And down the back straight away. Here's Will Giant down there in front. Parker says to him. And then comes Boyce. And then Parker.
Okay, still top Will Giant. Back of Parker's like just then. I thought he had a chance. Talismanic David Mitchell hanging back his floor. Young Parker backing off the pace a little. He's going to allow Boyce to come to him in the last turn. Wilshire looks at the flag. We're going to run to the flag in second. New South Wales rider Craig Boyce for second, but I'll wait for the decision of the stewards. Wilshire first. I say that Boyce got second, but who am I to question the steward's decision? And Parker third. I'll get that officially for you in just a moment. What have we got? Time was what? 1:06:39. 12, 11, 13. Yeah.
11:13.
Okay, official results. Bike 12, Todd Wilshire, sponsored by June Smith Florist, in first with a time of 1:06.39. 1:06.39 the time. Second place with a great ride in that last quarter of a lap goes to New South Wales, Craig Boyce. They pick up a maximum for that one. That Craig sponsored by Firefighting Enterprises. And coming home in third and only just pipped by about half a bike was the South Australian Shane Parker in third, and he was sponsored by Tennant Creek Sporties Club. What a great race for that one, and that's sponsored by Harry and Ingrid Portlock. That's the cracker of the night for that placing there, Harry. Heat 8 coming up in just a moment, sponsored by the Plains Video down there on Railway Terrace. In red for Victoria, Phil Crump out of 1, and he's sponsored by Mobile Larapinta. In blue for Queensland, out of 2, Troy Butler, sponsored by Peter Kittle Toyota. In the white helmet colours from Victoria, Jason Ryan from CKS Electrical. And in yellow, out of 4, the Queenslander, Darren Winkler, sponsored by Indoor Cricket Association. That's what the program is. We'll see how they come to the line. The Victorians look set to run as per program. Trumpy down there on the low line. Lions setting out here ready to do 3. We're waiting on one rider, Texas Butler. Here he comes, Butler, the last man out. Victoria. Starting 3. That guy's line. Queensland dropping. Troy Butler will come out of 4, and Darren Winkler out of 2. Queensland starting 3. Front, Winkler, Ryan, and Butler.
And Butler right round the outside. Look at Winkler point back, and he's underneath him. What a bunch! Look at him go into that bend. All tight as anything, all 4 of them. That's Crump out there in front. Winkler down on the inside. Come on, and it's still young Winkler out there in front. Oh, what a tight race! And Winkler up high, but Crump is down on the inside, and then Doyle underneath him. Butler underneath him.
Crump there in second on the high line. Troy Butler down low and off. Just got to be crossed up in third. Crump fights back on the outside.
And as they come round with 1 lap to go there, it's Crump on the outside, Winkler down on the inside. What an event this one is. Look, Lemon comes down back straight away. They go, Winkler down in there, and he fights back again, and he's underneath Crump. And they're shoulder to shoulder as they go into the corner this time. Crump on the outside, Winkler on the inside. It'll be a round of the Winkler, Crump, and then Butler, and then Lion. What a great event that one, Michael. What a beauty. Shoulder to shoulder all the way. Time?
1:07:14.
You can really hold your programs in the air, everyone, for that was a great one. Victoria versus Queensland, and what a battle it was.
And what a great ride from the young Queenslander, Darren Winkler, to battle it all the way with Phil Crump there and held it very tight on the pole line there coming through the turn. Crumpy forced to run wide and Queensland picking up 1 and 3. So young Darren Winkler, sponsored by the Indoor Cricket Association, came home in a time of 1:07.14, 1:07.14, a bit of a slower heat, but by gee, what a close one. You could have had a blanket over them for 3/4 of the race. Into second place, the Victorian. And as Harry can remember, even further back than that. But his father's up here assisting him.
Yes, Michael, I can remember Lenny Rose riding in trial. Not riding, but sitting in the chair in trial.
Righto, let's see how we go. Well, Shane Bowes is coming out of 3, so the South Australians have swapped. Scotty Norman's out of 1, Bowesy is out of 3. One rider in the wrong spot at the moment.
I don't think Baxter's allowed to stay there.
No. Baxter should be out of 2.
Yes, they pointed out by a close short still though.
So swap around by both teams actually. 7, 4 and 3. So Baxter from out of 2. Norman out of 1, Baxter out of 2, Rose out of 3, Bridges out of 4, Harry 2.
Thank you, Michael. Still waiting on Norman to come up. He's in position now. But he got the best of it. Baxter right round the outside of him, and he's gone wide. And Les Bowes right underneath him. Norman and Bowes have cleared right out. Baxter and Bridgford way back in the field. And it's Bowes down on the inside. He's got that right side. Norman riding at each shoulder. And then back to Baxter and Bridgford. Baxter seems to have picked up a little bit on the 2 South Australians. And they've gone away again now. Look at them riding shoulder to shoulder. And in great fair style. And it's Norman riding shotgun get there. Bowes goes for broke, and Norman holding out the others. Baxter's next to them, and then back to Bridgford. Down they come with just over 1 lap to go. And as Bowes gone just a little bit wide, and Norman so that no one can get through it. Great Pears riding down the back straightaway for the last time. And it's Shane Bowes, Bowes leading them round. Norman next to him, and then Baxter and Bridgford going up for the checker flag. Yes, it's the South Australian pair takes it out. Bowes was over the line first, Norman next to him, then came Baxter and Bridgford.
Great ride from the young South Australian rider, Shane Bowes. Not to mention, of course, Scotty Norman. Good teams racing there between the two of them. They had it well organised right from the time that the gates dropped. I could see that Norman was to keep the line out wide, keep Baxter out, and then Bowes was to take the low line and come in with him. And a great teams riding from those two. And of course, Shane Bowes will take it out for McBride Transport in a time of 1:08.11, 1:08.11. And second spot going to Scotty Norman, the South Australian, of course, sponsored by Jones Signs and North Point Cars. And coming home in third, the Northern Territory rider, Glenn Baxter, sponsored by the girls. We'll go straight to Heat 10, sponsored by GNS Transport. In red out of 1, Glenn Doyle for Western Australia. In white out of 3, that'll be the other Western Australian rider, David Cheshire. Then the blue out of 2 for South Australia will be Shane Parker. And in the yellow out of 4, Damon Richardson, also for South Australia. Let's see how they come to the wire, if we've got any changes. And there's been quite a few changes amongst the team, working out the best placings for each rider. Looks like South Australia will run as program. Parker's gone into 2, Richardson will be in 4. Looks like Cheshire's out of 3, so Western Australia to run. Glenn Doyle, the last rider out, just onto the circuit there. So it appears they will be running as per program. Remember David Cheshire, the rider who rode Phil Crump all the way to the wire in that previous exciting heat. This will be a good one. Glenn Doyle, a heat web leader, and of course Shane Parker also a heat winner as well. So it'll be very close between this one. Keep your eyes on them. Western Australia will run Doyle out of 1, Parker out of 2, Wilshire out of 3, Richardson out of 4. We're just about ready to go. A couple of riders dropped, and now we come up to the wire.
It's Doyle, Parker, Cheshire and Richardson. Look at young Cheshire go round the outside of him, and Parker tucked right into him. Doyle leads them round. Cheshire's at his shoulder. Parker's tucked right into him, and back to Richardson. Cheshire got a little bit wide that time. Doyle looking for him, and he comes up to try and block that hole, but Parker's got underneath him, and he fights back again. Young Cheshire fights back. It's Doyle out there. Cheshire's next to him, and then Parker and Richardson pulled in through there. All of them gone just a little bit wide. And he's holding Parker out. Down the back straightaway, Doyle's got a bit of a run, and Cheshire blocking the hole. If Parker's got to go anywhere, he's got to go a long way round. Doyle making the run for the line now. Hanging on to Parker. Parker can't find a way through him. He's riding on the line right where Parker wants to go. And down they come into the southern bend for the last time, and it's Doyle. Doyle out there in front of Western Australia, leads the over. And then on to Parker.
Good ride for Western Australia. First and second, Glenn Doyle and David Cheshire. Maximum points, 5 points for Western Australia there. Shane Parker picking up first point for third. Just running through them, that's bike 9, Glenn Doyle, in a time of 1:07.2, 1:07.2 the time, and Glenn sponsored by Light and Easy Leisure Furniture. Second place, the Western Australian rider David Cheshire. He's sponsored by Anita Plummer and Milko. And in third spot, the South Australian rider Shane Parker, number 13. He's sponsored by Tennant Creek Sporties Club. So the placings 9, 10, 13. The time of 1:07.2 as we move to heat 11, sponsored by Coca-Cola Bottlers. In red out of 1, the New South Wales rider Craig Boyce, sponsored by Firefighting Enterprises. In blue from 2, Phil Crump for Victoria, sponsored by Mobile Larapinta. In white from 3, for New South Wales, Todd Wilshire, sponsored by June Smith Florists. And in yellow from 4, the Victorian rider Jason Lyon, sponsored by CKS Electrical.
Michael, I have the correct colours on, so we can take it that that's where they're going to ride.
Yep, Todd Wilshire is out of 3, you're right. Craig Boyce out of 1, so New South Wales okay. But no, the Victorians have swapped, Harry. Jason Lyons out of 2, Phil Crump out of 4.
Yes, they came out in those the colours, but then swapped over.
Okay, so the order reads Boyce, Lyons, Wilshire and Crump. Should be a good one, Harry.
Yes, it will be a beauty. Right, it's Boyce there. Look at Wilshire go round him. Boyce and Wilshire to the front, and the Lion comes up and killed Crump up there. But he's back in it again. Look at him riding shoulder to shoulder. Boyce on the inside, Wilshire on the outside, and trying to catch up with him. Still Crump back there in the 4th position. Down the back straight away they go, the 2 New South Welshmen holding it together. Boyce on the inside, Wilshire right at his shoulder. So anyone that's got to go round has got to go a long way. And still Crump trying to pick them up now. They swap, Wilshire goes to the inside, Boyce on the outside now. Ryan comes right up to them. He's got a long way to go to get through them. Coming up for the flags with just 1 lap to go. And look at young Ryan coming up underneath him. And he is, he's underneath him. He's got under Wilshire. And he's back again. As they were going down that side, Boyce was pointing to Wilshire. Block him, block him, block him. As they come through now, what a ride for the and it's Boyce Boyce out there, Wiltshire next. But Young Lion, what a great ride to fight his way through underneath there. They came down past the tower that time. Boyce saw him coming and he's waving to Wiltshire, get down and block him. And he almost left a hole there, and Young Lion almost fought his way through it. What a great ride.
What a tremendous ride from the young Mildura rider, Jason Lyon, Victoria's number 2 star, and he got some traction and some drive out of that north turn, picked that front wheel up. He was all over the back of Wilshire's bike, but he wasn't going to back off an inch. Tremendous stuff. Bad luck for Phil Crump. Had a bit of a bad start there, and it put him back rear of field, and he never really recovered. Good teams riding from the New South Welshman, but as Harry said, you could see Boyce saying to Wilshire, pointing as he went past the tower, get down, Lions is all over the back of you. Bike 11, Craig Boyce for Firefighting Enterprises in New South Wales, picking up first place in a time of 1:07.23, 1:07.23 the time. Second place for New South Wales, Todd Wilshire for June Smith Florists, and in third place, Australia swapping over, and we've got Bridgeford out of 1 actually, so they're going to run as per program. I was wrong, they're going to muck me up here. Western Australia will run as per program, but the Northern Territory, the Northern Territory will run as program, the Western Australians are switched around. So it will read Bridgeford out of 1, Cheshire out of 2, Baxter out of 3, Doyle out of 4. Riders just drawing to the wire now. Doyle looking down with his bike at something.
Cheshire, sorry, and Doyle on the outside of him, and then Baxter and Bridgeford. Doyle on the outside, Cheshire on the inside, and Glenn Doyle's really got that one. David Cheshire, and it's Wayne Bridgeford back into third, and then back to Glenn Baxter, down the back straight away. Doyle leads them round as he goes sliding wide, out there looking for all the drive that he can get, and he's really wide out of there. David Cheshire down on the inside, blocking up that hole. There are wide as a gate to try and get past this time as they come down with 1 1/4 laps to go, coming up to greet the flag. And then back to Baxter and Bridgeford. Shoulder to shoulder they go down, this time down the back straight away. No one's going to get past them from there. Doyle on the outside, Cheshire on the inside. Here they come up to greet the checker flag. Doyle will take it out, Cheshire will take it, Bridgeford, and then Baxter.
Good ride, good teams riding for the Western Australian there, for David Cheshire and Glenn Doyle. And I think Wayne Bridgeford picking up a bit of speed that time, got a better start. I think Wayne Bridgeford had been a little bit off the pace earlier, but I think he's certainly done something because he gated better, and he also had that turn of speed on Glenn Baxter that time. In first position, bike 9, the Glenn Doyle for Western Australia, sponsored by Light and Easy Furniture. The time 1:07.30. 1:07.30 for the 4-lap journey for Glenn Doyle. In position 2, the Western Australian rider backing him up was David Cheshire, sponsored by Anita Plummer and Milko.
Okay, how about your teammate Glenn Baxter?
Yeah, Glenn's finding the same sort of thing, really hard to get out the start. He's a real strong engine.
Okay, Harry, back to you.
Thanks, Scotty. The New South Wales riders have swapped, so Boyce is out of 4, Wilshire's out of 2. So it's Butler, Wilshire, Winkler and Boyce in that order. Over to you, Harry.
Thank you, Michael. Butler, Wilshire, Winkler and Butler down on the inside, that's got a beautiful run. And Wilshire went right underneath him on that corner. And it's Wilshire out there, Butler in second, and then back to Boyce. Winkler got just a little bit. It's Wilshire looking round for his mate there. looking over his shoulder to see where Boyce was. But it's Butler there in second position. Butler closes right up on him, and then Boyce back to them. Wilshire's gone wide. Butler looking for a run up. And then back to Winkler. Down the back straight away they go. And it's Wilshire. Wilshire's got away now. Butler's coming to him. And he's under great pressure from Boyce. And back to... They're going into the back straight for the last time now. And it's Wilshire. Wilshire well out in front. Butler next to him, and he's under great pressure from Boyce. And it'll be a run to the line for that second position. And then Butler from Boyce and David Cheshire. Winkler, I meant.
Staying down there for a while, Scotty.
Great teams riding for New South Wales and Queensland there, or certainly the New South Wales riders trying very, very hard. Troy Butler battling for Queensland and splitting the two. Number 12, Todd Wilshire, bringing it home for June Smith Florist at New South Wales in a time of 1:06.17. 1:06.17 for Todd Wilshire. Second place going to bike 5, the compatriot New South Welshman Craig Boyce for firefighting enterprises. And in third place, the, I beg your pardon, that's Troy Butler was in second place. I'm looking at reading this the wrong way around. Troy Butler for Queensland into 2. And he's sponsored by Peter Kittle Toyota. He split the New South Welshman, of course. And in third place, bike 11, Craig Boyce, for firefighting enterprises. So Queensland picking up 2 points, New South Wales picking up 4 points. Heat 14, sponsored by Tanami Transport. This one for the South Australians, the 2 South Australian teams riding together here. It's the first time we've seen this one. In red, Shane Parker. In blue, Shane Bowes. In white, Damon Richardson. In yellow, Scotty Norman. Now let's see how they line up.
Mike, do you have time quickly to tell how this happened? The fact that 2 of them rode through the elimination round?
Yeah, well, you've got the South Australian champion, Shane Parker, and Damon Richardson ran 1 and 2 in the South Australian title to represent their state here. But Shane Bowes and Scotty Norman rode through the elimination meeting last Saturday night here at Urunga Park to qualify as the first 1 and 2 home in that meeting to run in the best pair. So it happens you've got 2 South Australian teams. One's the home team, one's the team that rode through the elimination meeting to get here. Let's see how they line up. It looks like we've got Parker out of 1, Bowes out of 2, and Richardson out of 3, Norman's out of 4. As per program, over to you, Harry.
Thank you. Bowes out of 1, Bowes out of 2, Norman out of 3, Richardson out of 4. Parker got the best of the jump, and he's right away there. And Richardson, a great ride, and he went round the outside of them. Look at young Bowes. Bowes is underneath Parker. Bowes there, shoulder to shoulder. And Richardson got up first at speed, and he's coming right into it now. And it's Scotty Norman. Norman is next to him. Now he's battling with Parker. So the 2 reserve riders in Bowes and...
Parker fights back on the inside. He comes back into 2. It's still Shane Bowes out in 1. And Shane Bowes' teammate Scotty Norman's in 3, and then back to Damon Richardson in 4. So you've got a split team here. Great riding from Parker. Great to ride his way into second place there. Shane Bowes, the man who got second. He's leading from Shane Parker. Then back to Scotty Norman and Damon Richardson. Spread themselves out pretty well now after that fairly close tussle. It's going to take a lot of hard riding to close that gap at this stage. The checkered flag comes out. It'll be Shane Bowes to the wire from Shane Parker. Then Scotty Norman, back to Damon Richardson. That's the way I see it. A split team effort I would see there for the 2 South Australian teams. We'll get the placings and the time for you. Well, Harry, the time's coming down there. I'll give that to you in a second. I've got 7 from 13 from 8. That's bike number 1, Shane Bowes. Bike number 7, I beg your pardon, can't read my own writing. Shane Bowes for McBride Transport. The time 1:05.70. Not a track record, not as quick as Glenn Doyle's time, but down in the 5-second bracket anyway. Then back to bike 13, the bike of Shane Parker, the Tennant Creek Sporties Club sponsored bike for the second South Australian team, and then to bike 8, Scotty Norman for Jones Signs coming home in 3rd place.
Michael Wilhake, make a quick cross to Scotty in the pits.
Thank you, Harry. With me at the moment, I've a name that everybody should know. From England, the great Simon Wigg. How are you tonight, Simon?
Yeah, well, really good. You know, it's didn't really expect to be coming to Alice Springs, but really enjoying myself here. A fantastic track that the club's put together, and really enjoying myself.
No, it's great to hear. So what do you think of Alice Springs and Urunga Park Speedway, Simon?
Yeah, that's what I said. You know, I mean, the club's done a great job, and it's a fantastic racetrack, and they're really sort of, you know, really doing a great job to keep it good all night. So, you know, I think they should be proud of themselves, and you know, credit to the town.
No, it's great. I understand you're giving the Queensland guys a bit of encouragement.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time with Troy Butler and the rest of the guys in Queensland in the winter, so I've come up with Troy for this week, and you know, we're just sort of there filling the program in and trying to help them a bit, you know. So I'd like to see them do well, yeah.
Great, Simon. Once again, welcome to Alice Springs, and thanks for your time.
For Cheshire to come to the line. Crump hanging back to Doyle there, Lyons is there. And Crump will come to the line now. And Doyle. Okay, I'll hand it Harry.
Thank you. Crump, Doyle, Lyons and Cheshire. Looking pretty great. What an even start. Down on the inside, Crump and Doyle shoulder to shoulder. And yes, it's a young Lion. Look at Lion go underneath him. There was a cap held there. Cheshire went wide and Lion flew out there. Crump from Lion. And a great ride from this young Lion. He's going to be a great one. Down the back straight away they go. And it's Phil Crump out there in front. Jason Lion driving the blocking tactics. Doyle tried to get underneath him then and Lion popped in on it. Lion next to him. Something come off a bike then down here.
Doyle in trouble.
I think it's his shoe. His shoe came off, Michael. So that's Doyle pulled out. There's a shoe off of his foot. So it's Crump out in front. Carry the flag for Western Australia. Phil Crump going down the straightaway for the last time. Down the back straight he goes. Jason Lyon on the pole line and then back to David Cheshire. Coming up to take the flag. Yes, it's Phil Crump. Takes it out. Lyon is next to him. And then Cheshire. Bad luck there for Doyle, who lost his shoe. Well, it's actually the steel plate that lives underneath the shoe.
Good ride to Phil Crump, ex-Australian champion. Phil Crump worked his way into this meeting by the unfortunate incident of Lee Adams, the Victorian title holder, broke his wrist in the Australia versus Sweden match in Adelaide a couple of weeks ago. Couldn't represent himself at the Victorian, so the 3rd place man, Phil Crump, in the Victorian title was seated in, and he came home in a time of 1:07.09, 1:07.09 the time for Phil Crump. Jason Lyons, the Mildura boy, 2nd in the Victorian title for CKS Electrical with a great ride, and he's certainly quite impressive out there on the track tonight, and that's making a Victoria 5 points there. And in 3rd place was Bike 10, David Cheshire for Western Australia, sponsored by Anita Plummer and Milko. Bad luck for Glenn Doyle, and as Harry Cricht correctly said, lost his shoe, and unfortunately that just out of 3. So New South Wales will run as program, Boyce and Wilshire. The Western Australians, the Northern Territorians have swapped, so Bridgeford and Baxter have swapped, so you got Baxter out of 2. So the order reads from 1, Boyce, then Baxter, then Wilshire, then Bridgeford in that order. New South Wales versus the NT. Seen some good riding from the New South Wales boys in a couple of earlier heats. Let's see how we go this time. Over to you.
Thanks, Mike. Boyce out of 1. Baxter out of 2. Wilshire out of 3. And Bridgeford out of 4. All in line. Ready to go now. New South Wales got out of it beautifully. Gated beautifully. Glenn Baxter's right in there. But it's Boyce on the inside, Wilshire on the outside, and then Baxter and back to Bridgeford. That's Wilshire that's leading them round. Boyce is down inside of him. right up close. They do plenty of this riding in England. Down the back straight away they go, and it's Wilshire well out clear, out in front, and next to him, Boyce, and then Baxter, and Britton. Riding beautifully. Wilshire leading away. Boyce tucked right in underneath him so no one can get by. Beautiful teams riding, just holding it together, both of them. Now they come, one lap to go. Wilshire on the outside. Leading right away. Wayne left Wayne Britford a little bit behind now. Down the back straight away for the last time. Right at beautiful bit of riding from these two from New South Wales. Up they come. Wilshire first, Boyce second, then Baxter third, and then Wayne Britford. 4 points for New South Wales over the 5. Northern Territory comes home with just the 1 point.
As Harry said, New South Wales taking the victory. Bike 12, Todd Wilshire for June Smith Florists. The time 1:07.29. 1:07.29 the time for Todd Wilshire. Second spot to teammate Craig Boyce, riding for Firefighting Enterprises and giving New South Wales a 5-point maximum. And in third place for the Northern Territory, Glenn Baxter, sponsored by the girls, and the Northern Territory picking up 1 point. Okay, we've got a track grade if we need it. We'll wait and see what the stewards of the meeting say. Before we go to event 5, we'll cross over to Scotty in the pits.
Thank you, Harry. Michael, with me at the moment, I have Troy Butler from Queensland. Troy, how are you faring up tonight? So far, so good?
Well, I've sort of been a little bit inconsistent at the moment. I've had a win and a second and a third and another second, so if we can get a little bit more consistency in me riding, I think, we'll be all right for tomorrow. But, we're just trying a few different things tonight, which hopefully will make things better for tomorrow. So, I'm just going to jump on my second bike now, and, if that's any better, then I'll be starting on that tomorrow. But, if not, then I'll be starting on my first bike. But, things seem to be going okay. The competition's obviously very tough, and if you don't make a start, then it makes it very hard to come to the back. You've got people like Crumpy and Todd and Boyce and all them in front of you. The racing's just really hard, and you've got to be on your toes at the start line, really.
Right, and how about your teammate, Darren Winkler?
Yeah, Darren seems to be struggling just a little bit. This is probably one of his biggest international meetings, for his short speedway career, so, he's going to learn a lot by it. But, he went quite well. I mean, he beat Crumpy from the back, so, he's got a lot to look forward to, and, he's definitely going to be another rider for the future, and, unfortunately, we're sort of having a few problems. He hit the tapes in the first one, but, he's coming on, and if we can pick up a few more points in our last 2 rides, then we should be up on the rostrum.
Okay, Troy, thanks for your time. Back to you, Harry.
And thanks, Scott. Scott talking to Troy Butler, the 3 times Queensland title holder, and also won the Australian titles back in 1986 at the tender age, I think, of 18 years from memory. So a great effort for a young Troy Butler. He's back here to try and repeat that performance tomorrow night and to assist Queensland in the best pairs. This is only a practice, ladies and gentlemen, for the visiting sidecar riders. It's only a practice. That's why we're not using tape or lights or anything at the moment. So we'll just swap this into the program to give the riders a bit of a break. But we'll have to get an update for you to find out just who these riders are. Bike 70, Paul Clark and Billy Saunders out there. One of the bikes I've picked up as I've gone around. So I'll just see if I can pick up some more. Bike 25, I'm looking for that. Coming out for those boys. 24, that's Brendan Roy and Roger Evans. 70, Paul Clark and Billy Saunders. Just can't quite pick up that other sidecar just going off there. But just a practice for the 3. We'll pick that one up later in the program when we come to it. We're going to event 5 for the Gap View Resort Hotel Australian Best Pairs title. Heat 17 shortly. That one's sponsored by Parrish and Chembry Concreters. And the man we were just talking to in the pits, Troy Butler, will be sitting down there on the line for that one for Queensland with Darren Winkler. And he'll be taking on the South Australians of Shane Parker and Damon Richardson. Parker, Winkler and Richardson from 1 down up to 4 by the fence. 4 bikes. Just going to the line. A couple of the boys here back of it. 6 gates closed in the hands of our clerk, of course. Okay, over to you, Harry.
Thank you. Butler, Parker, Winkler, Parker's there, and Parker's right there with him. Richardson, a greater ride from Richardson this time, and he's out there alongside of Parker. He certainly picked up some speed from somewhere, but it's Butler out there. Got him right under pressure. That's a greater ride from Richardson. Look at him go this time. Richardson riding right round the outside of Butler, and Parker right in there. He's certainly done something to that bike, and he's flying. Look at Richardson go. Richardson. Second, and Parker in there, and then back to Winkler. A great ride from a young fella. Down the back straight away they go. With half a lap to go. And it's Richardson out in front. And Butler next to him. Butler got a bit blind. They go around this time. And it's Richardson down the back straight away for the last time. Doyle went, Butler went wide, and Parker shot right underneath him. Running up to the line, and there'll be a real battle for the line. I think Parker was second, and then Butler and Winkler.
Great ride from the South Australians, and you'd have to give that one to Damon Richardson. Got out of the gate last and was fourth a man away. Rode right around the outside of the field, did it the hard way and worked his way up to first position. Took on the Queensland champ, rode around him, and what a tremendous ride for South Australia. Shane Parker, you can't take anything from him, running in third spot there for most of the event behind Troy Butler. Worked at it. Butler went a little wide, Parker went through, and that was the end of that. Team's racing, and he just blocked Butler from there. So good ride to the South Australian team. Shane Parker bringing it home for Tennant Creek Sporties in a time of 1:07.66. And in second spot was number 13 of Shane Parker. I said, beg your pardon, Damon Richardson bringing it home in first. Shane Parker second. And of course, Troy Butler for Queensland in third. So SA picking up 5 points, Queensland 1. Heat 18, sponsored by Link Hire. In red for South Australia, Shane Bowes. In blue for Victoria, Phil Crump. In white for South Australia, Scotty Norman. And in yellow for Victoria, Jason Lyons. This should be a good one. The two South Australians, Bowes and Norman, were doing a good job before in the team. And Crump and Lyons have been very spectacular also in team riding.
Michael, I would expect it to be one of the most spectacular heat, spectacular heat. Got him.
Yep, got to be one of the good ones on the program tonight. And they're going to run Scotty Norman out of 1. So the South Australians have changed. So you've got Norman out of 1, Crump out of 2, Bowes out of 3, Lyons out of 4. And this should be very close, as Harry said. I'll pass it over to you.
Norman out of 1, Crump, Bowes out of 2, and Lyon out of 4. Norman's bike jumped right up in the air and lost him a lot of ground. Crump and Bowes, and it's Bowes. Bowes that got it, Crump was next to him, and then here's Norman looking to slide underneath him, and young Lyon back there. And Bowes has got a beautiful run away. Everyone following him around there. Down the back straight away they go, and Bowes is getting away from Crump a little bit. Norman's under a bit of pressure from Lyon, but it's still Bowes. Bowes out there in front. Crump next to him. Customary position for him at the rear of the field. Down the back straight away they go, and Bowes has got that bike going well now, and he's clear of Crump, and then Norman out there, way out in the driving just not right down on the pole line. He's riding wide. And then next to Crump, and the Lion making a real effort to get past Norman. Up for the checker flag they come. And those two will be second.
Lions around the outside.
Yeah, Lion around the outside, and he got past Norman.
Okay, South Australian coming home in first place with Shane Bowes there representing them in the time of 1:06.39. 1:06.39 for South Australia's Shane Bowes. Second spots to the Victorian rider Phil Crump, and he's sponsored by Mobile Larapinta. And in third spot was the rider Jason Lyons for Victoria, sponsored by CKS Electrical. And what a great ride from young Lyons. I wasn't going to ride him off. He was in fourth for most of the race, but we've seen some great rides from him earlier in the night, and that one was no different. He rode right out wide into the drive. He picked up some tremendous drive in that third lap coming through the Northern Territorians are running as per program. I suspect the South Australians will too, but we'll find out in a moment. Yes, Parker's gone down into 2, so they're running right as per program. Bridgman from 1, Parker from 2, Baxter from 3, Richardson from 4. In the hands of the starter.
But Parker rode right past them. And look at them go, 3 abreast as they go down there.
Richardson's right around the outside.
Well, what a beauty, Michael. And he's riding well now. Pretty tight, this one. Baxter looking for a run around the outside. Richardson leading them around now. And next to him, Parker. And then comes Baxter and back to Bridgeford. Richardson certainly found some power from somewhere, Michael.
Certainly has. He picked a fast line on the circuit, Harry. He's found that mid-track move, leads the line. South Australian champion Shane Parker. Good teams riding from the South Australians. Baxter sitting back in 3, not far away and striking, within striking distance. Bridgman, who got a tremendous start, has fallen back off the pace a little, but it's the South Australians. Richardson from Parker. One lap to go as they go into the North Third for the last time. Richardson pulls away from Parker a little bit this time. Richardson's bike likes that heavy going, and he's going to pull out a bit of a lead on Parker. Parker closes perhaps a fraction, but Baxter sitting with him all the way. Richardson, 1 and 2, 14, 13 and 4, and I'll pick it, that's the way I got it. We'll get a time for you in a moment. Bike 14, the South Australian rider Damon Richardson bringing it home for SA in a time of 1:08.10, 1:08.10, backed up by teammate Shane Parker into 2, and for the Northern Territory, bike 4, Glenn Baxter in 3. That time again, 1:08.10, 14, 13 and 4, the placings. As we go to Heat 20, sponsored by the Northern Territory Bushfires Council. So it looks like we've got some changes here. Cheshire is going to come out of 1 and Doyle out of 3. So the Western Australians have swapped, and so have the Queenslanders. So Butler and Winkler have swapped as well. So the order's going to read Cheshire from 1, Winkler from 2, Doyle from 3, Butler from 4. So complete change around. Okay, you've got it. Cheshire from 1, Winkler from 2, Doyle from 3, Butler from 4. Just waiting on Butler to come to the wire and hand it to Harry.
Thank you, Michael. Oh, there's some touching the tape. White goes out. White is out.
David Cheshire excluded.
Bad luck for David Cheshire. That's the second time he touched the tapes tonight. Did?
No, Darren Winkler, the one who touched them earlier. No, David Cheshire out there, the rider in the white helmet from 1, was the 38th, the oldest man in the field. Over to you, Harry.
Taylor. Winkler.
Doyle has swapped. Doyle out of 1.
Doyle out of 1 and Taylor
Winkler. The Western Australian and the Queenslander out in front. Doyle, Butler swaps to the inside line. Doyle gone really wide. Taylor's right in there and he's in front. Now after now they go. And it's Butler out there in front. Doyle is next to him. And then back to Taylor and Winkler bringing up the rear this time. Yes, it's Doyle. Doyle's got pretty well away now. Doyle is Butler next to him. Taylor closing right up. Winkler has pulled down into the infield. Down the back straight away they go. This time Doyle cleared right away. Butler's there. And Taylor in his very first ride of the night throws it right up on in. And he has a look over his shoulder. Down the back straight away they go for the last time. And Taylor's coming right up there to Butler. But it's Doyle up there in front. Around the bend for the last time. Doyle leads around. Takes out the checkered flag. Butler's next. And then comes Glenn Taylor.
For the Western Australian, that's Glenn Doyle, current Australian champion, riding for Light and Easy Leisure Furniture, came home in a time of 1:07.19. 1:07.19 for Glenn Doyle from Western Australia. Second place to Queensland, Troy Butler, Bike 5, riding for Peter Kittle Toyota. And in third place, the reserve rider slotting in there was Bike 16, Glenn Taylor from Western Australia. So Western Australia picking up the 4 points and Queensland picking up 2. That time 1:07.19, the placings 9, 5 and 16. Heat 21 coming up, that's sponsored by Northern Territory Freight Service. In red for New South Wales, Craig Boyce riding for Firefighting Enterprises. In blue from South Australia, Shane Bowes for McBride Transport. In white for New South Wales, Todd Wilshire for June Smith Florist. And in yellow for South Australia, Scotty Norman, and he's sponsored by Jones Signs. This should be a good one, the New South Wales versus the South Australians. Boyce and Wilshire running quite hot, and the South Australian Bowes and Norman putting up a good pairing as well. This should be the final heat, depending on whether we need any runoffs, of course, for this best pairs, although we've got plenty of other events on the program, of course, don't go away. We'll be having the Tim Tyler Formula 500 invitation after this presentation down trackside with our winners, and our own celebrities, of course, will be there as well. Heat 21, sponsored by the Northern Territory Freight Services. They're going to run for the New South Wales guys. They're running his program. Craig Boyce is out of 1, Todd Wilshire is out of 3, and South Australia is the same. Bowes out of 2, Norman's out of 4. So as per program, we're just about ready to go.
Backs away from the line, just waiting on them to pick up. Back they go. Boyce, Bowes, Wilshire and Norman. But who was it? Bowes, look at him go. He's riding shoulder to shoulder with Norman. They're actually leaning on each other as they come down this time. It's Boyce it was, and it's Bowes. Bowes who got the better of him. Bowes out there in front. Boyce is next to him. Boyce having a look over his shoulder to see who's there. And he sees it's Wilshire and he rides on. But it's Shane Bowes. Look at Bowes go. He's out there in front and he's leading Boyce. Back to Wilshire. Scotty Norman. That's Scotty Norman. But it's Shane Bowes out there in front. Bowes down the back straight away they go. Boyce trying to catch up to him and then back to Wilshire. He's spreading the field a little bit. This will be a pretty good time. Bowes out wide. Back to Wilshire and Norman. Down the back straight away they go and it's Bowes. Bowes is well clear now. Boyce back there next to him and then Wilshire and back to Norman. Up they come with the checker flag and it's Shane Bowes. Bowes takes it out. Craig Boyce lifts the wheel as he comes over the line and then Todd Wilshire and Scotty Norman.
Great ride for the South Australian boy, Shane Bowes, on his second bike. Blew up his first bike earlier in the night and brought the second one out, and it's certainly been a crackerjack for him. Brought it home in a time of 1:07.14. 1:07.14 for young Shane Bowes. and he's sponsored by McBride Transport. Second place, the New South Wales rider, Craig Boyce, and he's sponsored by Firefighting Enterprises, and riding for New South Wales, of course, and also for New South Wales, Todd Wilshire coming home third, and he's sponsored by June Smith Florists. So South Australia picking up the 3 points, New South Wales also picking up 3 points. The placings 7, 11 and 12, the time 107.14, and I'll wait till the stewards of the meeting and the officials add up the point scores and clarify them. I'll remind you, Parker's on the inside in red for South Australia, Doyle's in the yellow on the outside for Western Australia. Over to you, Harry.
Thank you, Michael. This is the run-off for second and third. Third and fourth, I'm sorry. Third and fourth. Doyle Butler up there beautifully. Parker on the inside of him now. Shoulder to shoulder they go down. In through the first bend, it's Doyle. Doyle leading them round. Parker fighting back. It's got the inside run and he goes underneath him. Parker hit a bit of something there and it really Doyle away by a metre or two now. Parker comes back, fights down on the inside, looking for that drive line. He's crossed to the outside now, looking for a bit of drive. Doyle's got away from him by a metre or two. Parker crosses back down onto the inside again. And looking for drive. That's Doyle riding that centre line where everyone wants to go. And making it down goes Parker. Down went Parker. And leaving Doyle to ride on. Parker's back up again. Doyle has been declared the winner. Western Australia takes out third position. So, Michael, that...
We'll move along into the program, and I'm going to start in reverse order tonight. I'd like to announce the third place getters in the Australian Best Pairs title for this weekend goes to Western Australia on 19 points. Glenn Doyle and David Cheshire. Come up, fellas. If I can have the princesses, thank you. We'll have the sashes put on the two riders. We'll have a quick chat with them in a moment. We've got Judy Paget from the Gap View Resort to present trophies and the princesses to place the sashes. Glenn Doyle, current Australian solo champion, will be back to defend his title here tomorrow night, and David Cheshire teaming with him tonight for Western Australia. Some beautiful trophies there too, fellas. Yep. Glenn, if I can just have a quick word with you. That was a very closely fought final of that run-off there. A bit of bad luck for Shane, but nevertheless, that's racing.
Yeah, that's correct. I was hoping to see it to the last 4 laps, to the checkered flag, but not to be. Wasn't Dave's night. If it had been, we definitely would have got higher. And thanks for your help anyway, Dave, to get where we did. We needed every point. I'd just like to thank everyone for coming tonight. I enjoyed it, and hopefully put it all together for tomorrow. And while I got the chance, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Uni Spares and Rock Oil, and a very special thank you for my father, who's flat in his back now from heat exhaustion. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, David. If you'd like to join us, stand up here on the rostrum for us, please, fellas. Second place in the Australian solo Best Pairs title goes to the South Australia number 2 team, Shane Bowes and Scotty Norman. Come forward, guys. These guys only rode their way into the meeting 1 week ago through the elimination meeting here at Orunga Park last Saturday. They came up for that elimination meeting and came home first and second in it and earned the right to ride here tonight, and they've done a tremendous job to pick up second place on 20 points. We'll get them some sashes there from the Speedway, some trophies from Judy and the Gap View Resort. Congratulations, boys. If I can just have a quick word, Shane. I know you've got a handful of trophies there, so I'll hide the microphone. Well done.
Yeah, thanks very much. I still can't believe that we got second. We're sitting in the pits after the last race, and someone said, you got second. I thought, you got the wrong person. But thanks to Scott for getting a few points, keep getting the points when I was sitting on the infield. We did it. I'd like to thank a lot of people that have helped me out since I've been here. I've been here for a week and haven't stopped working on a bike since I've been here. They are Wayne Woodbury from Race Motorcycles and Murray from Reboring porting and machining, and Adrian Todd from Outback Machinery, who's helped us since we've been here. Thanks very much to him. Whole of Alice Springs for coming down, and wherever else you're from. And all the other riders, thanks very much.
Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Scott. Second place in the Australian Solo Best Pairs title. Boys, if you'd like to hop up onto the rostrum on the other end, thank you very much. We'll move along. Okay, here's the guys who rode their hearts out and did a great teams ride tonight. New South Wales on 25 points, Craig Boyce and Todd Wilshire. Tremendous stuff, fellas. Just stand there and the girls will give you your sashes. I see Todd carrying a Australia Day flag. Of course, today Australia Day, and what a great day to pick up an Australian title for New South Wales. Some tremendous racing from these two, and to ride to 25 points, a really good effort and some really good teams riding. These guys riding overseas together, by the way, so they're plenty used to it. Todd, well done.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'd like to thank especially the Alice Springs Motorcycle Club here. Fantastic meeting tonight, all the organisers, the sponsors, and big thank you to my mechanics, Dean and Eddie, my father and friend Frank for bringing the van here tonight, and my personal sponsors, PD Levers, Gildy Guards and Charlestown Toyota. And also a big thank you for Craig Boyce. He didn't ride too bad, thank you.
And we'll have a quick word with Craig. Craig, tremendous effort from you as well. Topped the National League average in UK this year, and this is a nice one to finish off that season.
Yeah, well, I had a good meet tonight. I really enjoyed the track. Just like to thank Alice Springs for putting on the meet, and everything went well tonight. I'd like to thank my father, Trevor, done a good job, and Bill, who drove the bikes up, and Eddie and Dean, the mechanic hard all night, and just everybody that's been helping me out. It's been great, and just thanks very much.
Thank you, guys. If you can hop up onto the stadium, we'll get some photos. There you have it, with a handful of trophies and sashes. Australia's top pairs, 1, 2 and 3. New South Wales, South Australia, Western Australia for this Gap View Resort.